This course is presented to you free of charge by TTJ Tech Services of www.ttjtech.biz and by Stir It Up of www.stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U, not an I, so that's STURITUP.com. TTJ Tech Services and Stir It Up are pleased to offer this course to you to the glory of God and to the benefit of all those who listen. Glory to God. All right. Welcome to session number 13 of Voiceover In and Out. It's App Bonanza. We like to do a quick overview of several apps that really and truly could each deserve their own session. And yet there's just, it would just add so many, it would just take too long, right? And so we want to combine a few and give you some pointers and tips. And by doing that, introduce even more voiceover concepts as well. These are all Apple apps. They're all accessible. We're going to begin with Apple Maps. Now, I told you that as we do these, it gives us the opportunity to teach more voiceover concepts. And that's true. And either to teach them or to reinforce them. So before we get into Apple Maps, I'd like to talk about Apple Maps a little bit. This is my favorite mapping app. It works very, very well. You may have heard people complain, and most of those are past issues. Some of them are just not knowing how to use the app, if I'm being honest. But there were some issues at the beginning because Apple was not the first company to develop a mapping app, right? There was MapQuest and Yahoo Maps and eventually Google Maps and, all these other things, TomTom and everything else, right? And when Apple first included a Maps app in their software, I don't know how many of you remember this, it was done with Google on the back end. Like it wasn't the Google Maps that you know of now, but it did have Google at the core of it. And it was an app that they worked in, combination, I suppose, with Google. And that lasted through to the release of iOS 6. And at iOS 6, Apple had decided they were going to, create their own Maps app. And Tim Cook has admitted that, he didn't realize how big of an undertaking it was going to be, basically. But they've really spent lots and lots of time refining this and to what it is today, which is just an absolutely beautiful app. And they have overhauled the mapping system in the United States in recent years. I think they started in about, I don't know when they actually started, but we became aware of it in probably 2018 or 2019. They had cars literally driving all over the US to map out the country. And now when you look at your maps, if you can see the landmarks really, really clearly and everything. And this has also made it possible, even for folks who are blind, to have turn-by-turn walking directions, right? Now, it's not supposed to replace a cane or a dog or something. You still need that if you're traveling independently, but you can use these walking directions. And I've actually talked to people who have done it, who are blind, and it does work. Now, there are some other countries that are getting this overhauled mapping as well. There was kind of a pause on it during the pandemic, and so that slowed things down a bit. But I think they're back on track. And, the goal is all these tons and tons of countries, right, to get them with this new overhauled mapping system. There's a lot that you can do in this app visually. You can look around in different cities and you can do all kinds of, satellite views and hybrid views and so on. And we're not going to really spend time on all of that. We're going to focus on one aspect primarily of the Maps app, which is finding business information with directions as well. And I want to start out by saying, that it is possible to use SIRI to get directions. And that will open up the Maps app and it'll give you turn-by-turn voice-guided directions. And all you have to do is say something to her like, take me to 123 Cherry Lane, Chicago. Or, you could say, give me directions to a pizza place near me, right? You can use business types, business names. take me to McDonald's. You can use actual business names or business categories, and then it'll give you some choices, right? You can also say, I'm looking for a pizza place near me, and then it'll give you the option to call or get directions at that point. So there's a lot of ways to use SIRI to get where you're going. And if you have all of your SIRI information and your contact information set up properly, you can even say, take me home or take me to work. You can use those phrases and it knows exactly what you mean if you have set that up. And so it's very easy. We're not going to demonstrate that, but it's very simple to do that. We're actually going to go into the Maps app and look at that. And what we'll see is that it's very easy to search for businesses, to look at the place card for those businesses, to find useful information, phone numbers, to create guides which allow you to store businesses that are related to each other or places that are related to each other. And of course, the directions. We're going to look at that too. So let's go to my iPhone here.
Maps.
There's the Maps app, and we're going to double tap it.
Maps, my location, 41.
Now,
map, Ashcombe Road.
If you look up at the top of the screen, you have this map. And that's what I said. There's a lot of stuff that especially sighted users can benefit from. And some of them are things in the rotor and so on as well. If you're in a city, my family and I were in D.C. yesterday, in Washington, D.C., and most of us, actually, my son had to work, but my daughter had wanted to go to a musical for her birthday. And so it was, we purchased it back at the time of her birthday or a little before, but the musical was yesterday, and we'll be going back there for another one next month. But anyway, praise God, we had a great time. But I noticed when I was in the city after we got done at the theater, looking for a place to eat, and of course we found many. But what I noticed too is that in the maps they had a feature called Look Around, which is not available everywhere. It's mainly available in larger cities right now. These are great visual features, and again, you can spend some time even if you are not sighted. You can play with these things, and you can move around on the maps and so forth and look around. But I want to focus on the search aspect of it, and to do that, we're going to touch near the bottom center of the screen.
Locations, 44.
Now, I'm going to swipe to the left.
Add, button, mom, home, dictate, search maps, search field.
And I'll just show you that if we go even, so I probably could have touched up a little higher on the screen rather than having to swipe left, but I just wanted to show you, if we go to the left some more.
Mostly cloudy, 60 degrees, air quality, 34, good, button.
We're also getting our forecast and our air quality information. And then to the right of that is a search field. And you can double tap on this, and again, you can type an address, you can type a business name, or you can even type a business category like Italian restaurants or hardware stores or something. You can do all of that. The other thing that you have inside, you have to open up the search field in order to see this. But if I double tap in this search field,
search maps, search field is editing, search maps, insertion point at start.
Now I have the keyboard, but if I swipe to the right,
dictate, cancel, search suggestions, recents, heading.
There's going to be a whole bunch of different types of search suggestions. The first one it said is recents, and so you can see here.
More, button, Apple Store, Raising Cane, Guitar Center, find nearby.
Okay, so those were some places that we had searched for a couple weeks ago when we had taken my son to visit a school that he's thinking about going to after high school. And while we were there, we were looking. I knew there was an Apple store nearby, and I wanted to see how close we were to it. And my kids wanted to go to this restaurant that we found was near us called Raising Cane. It's a chicken, like chicken tenders and so forth. And that's really all they do, like chicken tenders and fries, chicken sandwiches, and of course your, fountain drinks and so on. And I don't know, maybe milkshakes, but at least sodas and so on. But then honestly, some of the best chicken tenders I've ever had, like they tasted very fresh and handmade and everything, hand breaded. But anyhow, so I looked for that. And the third one was Guitar Center, because I was looking for one because I knew there was one of those nearby also. So those are the recent places, and we may have been able.
Apple Store, more, button.
Yeah, just to the left of the first recent search result,
Recent
or
heading.
recent search suggestion,
More button.
there was a more button, and I could see more than 3. You notice it only presented me with the 3 most recent things, but if I double tap on recents, I can go way back to other things that I've searched for. So that's very useful. Now let's keep going to the right past those.
Apple's Guitar Center.
And you'll notice
Find nearby heading.
Find nearby. And so this is going to give me the opportunity wherever I am, based on my current location, to find various things. Let's listen.
Restaurants, button. Gas stations, fast food, coffee shops, grocery stores, hotels, but rest areas, but convenience stores, but guys we love, heading.
And then we're on to another category. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, that some of that may even change depending on the time of day, what the options are. But you heard a good bit there, right? Restaurants, hotels, gas stations, grocery stores, fast food, convenience, all those different things. Now you're going to get into something called guides we love. And I'm going to talk about guides more in a few minutes. And so I'm not going to do that right now, because what I want to do is I want to instead actually search just for something very simple. Let's say we're looking for a pizza place. Okay, so I just type pizza in there and I press the search at the bottom right.
Search.
And you'll notice now
Selected. Original Italian.
what I can swipe left, I can touch the upper middle of the screen.
All amenities. Button. Takeout. All prices. Sort by best match. Button.
Notice how we can filter these things. But look, it found some.
Selected. Original Italian pizza. Pizza restaurant. 1.3 miles. $. Open till 10 p.m. 5.0 stars. Yelp. In favorite restaurants. Button.
And it
Actions available.
And it put it in, at first there it said it's in favorite, because I do have it in, and we'll talk more about that. Notice actions available.
Show favorite restaurants. Share. Activate. Default.
So this place right here, I can share this location. I can show the guide that it's in favorite restaurants. And that is an excellent pizza place right near us. If I go to the right.
Selected. Best Way Pizza. Bright Spot Pizza. Pizza Rat. Selected.
So there's different ones, and I can double tap any of them if I want to see their place card.
Selected. Original Italian Pizza. My location.
Now, if we swipe to the right, well, actually, let's touch down a little lower on the screen first. Okay, here you go.
Tracking off button.
All right.
Change tracking options.
Notice that the tracking is off right now. If you want to ever turn that on to get back to, like, sometimes my kids will play with the phone and they want to look somewhere totally different. Like, they want to look at what it looks like right now in, I don't know, Colorado. And I'm, of course, we're in Pennsylvania. So then when I get the phone back, it's showing me Colorado. Now, it updates based on your current location. But if you want to just actually bring it back immediately, you could just turn the tracking on and it'll bring it back to where you are. Anyhow, going to the right now.
Favorite restaurants, 11 places.
It happens to show me that this pizza place is in that guide, favorite restaurants, because I've put it in there. Let's keep swiping to the right.
Close button.
There's the close button.
Sort by date added. Bedford Diner.
Okay, so this actually brought up, probably because I had the rotor. So let me go back and do, let's just activate. Instead, I must have said, I don't know, but I can find it in here anyway. And when I open it up, what happens is, now I have the place card, and I want to describe to you what happens here. We're going to learn a new voiceover concept called card overlays. Card overlays. In an app like Maps, you want to be able to see the place card for the business, right? If you open it up, you want to see its phone number, its hours, its address, maybe, if it's good for kids, or if it accepts Apple Pay, or other kinds of information that you might want to know. Maybe even the menu, maybe photos of some of the foods, right? But you also still want to see the map, because you might be navigating, you might be looking at that map for some reason. And so what happens is, we use a thing, Apple uses a thing called card overlays. The card is the business place card. It is overlaying the map, but it's not taking up the entire screen. It's only taking up a portion of the screen so that you can still see the map at the same time. When you have this situation, you will find things occasionally like card control, or the other thing you might hear is sheet grabber. The sheet grabber allows you to adjust the size of the sheet or to dismiss it altogether. And in this case, it's a card. So like eventually if we swipe to the right, I think we'll run into one of those and you'll hear that. But I wanted to describe that to you ahead of time, what's going on here now. So that also helps you to know if you touch outside of it, you know, you're still hearing the map or something. And usually VoiceOver handles these perfectly well. If it seems like there's not... Had to dismiss a notification there, excuse me. If it seems like you're not getting all the information that should be on the card that you're expecting to get, you can try to increase the size of the card. And usually with VoiceOver in these apps like Maps, you typically don't have to. But sometimes you do, and to do that, it's an option in the rotor when we get to the card controller. So let's start swiping through this.
Dynamic Island website.
Okay, here we go. Ready?
Original Italian pizza. Pizza restaurant. Middle dot. Everett, Pennsylvania.
Now I'm going to swipe to the right.
5 minutes. Driving. Button.
It's a 5-minute drive.
Call. Button.
There's a button to call them.
Website. Button.
View their website, which does have online ordering, by the way.
Order. Button.
And there's even the order button, so we can order right from Maps here.
More. Button.
There's a more button. We won't take the time to go into all that, but it's there.
Selected. Button. Share. Button. Close. Button.
There's the close button to dismiss this card.
Hours. Open. Ratings. Rate.
If we want to double tap any of these, we can.
Cost. $2 signs. Distance. 1.5 miles. Add a note.
We can add a note about this place.
Only you'll see what you write here. Yelp. Button. Image.
Now these are photos.
Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap
VoiceOver
to
will describe it.
2 slices of pepperoni pizza sitting on top of a pizza pan. NYTYLTIN.
Okay.
Yelp.
Here's another photo.
Image. Swipe up or down to select a custom action, then double tap to activate a group of people sitting at tables in a restaurant. Yelp.
Okay, so all these photos from Yelp, we'll swipe past all those.
Yelp.
And then
Yelp. Add photo. Button.
We can add our own.
Ratings and reviews. Button.
Here's some ratings and reviews.
Yelp. 5.0.
They have 5 stars on Yelp.
27 reviews.
From 27 reviews.
Mark T. Middle dot. Last month. 5.0 stars. Stumbled upon this place while looking for the hardware store. I'll always give local pizza places a try. Not disappointed. Pepperoni pie, extra crispy. Perfect. Lots of pepperoni, lots of cheese. Brie.
And apparently there's more to that review. We could double tap because it ended mid-sentence. Or I would assume that's the case. But he's right. It's very good. That's my favorite pizza place in the area. Probably the best one in the county. So I could keep reading these reviews. And then if we keep going to the right, you'll notice here that now it says...
in your guides. Heading.
In your guides.
Good to know. Heading.
Now, here's a good to know section.
Close button.
There's the close button again.
Original Italian. Add a note.
Okay. I got back up too high here. Let's keep going to the right.
More on.
Oh, here we go. Okay, now.
More. Accepts app.
Here we go.
Dinner.
Good to know.
Parking lot. Outdoor parking. Good for kids. Delivery. Takeout. Favorite restaurant. Takeout. Delivery.
Maybe I didn't have... I probably just had to keep swiping.
Good for kids.
You can see they have delivery. Good for kids.
Outdoor parking. Parking lot. Dinner. Casual attire. Contactless payments. Accepts Apple Pay.
Right, so it tells you all these things.
More button.
There's a more button again.
Details button. Heading.
Here's where it actually
Edit.
shows you.
Hours. 11 a.m. 10 p.m. Open. Collapsed.
And I can expand that to see other days of the week.
Phone. +1.
There's the phone number.
Website. Evertoy. Address. More on Yelp.
So we can see the phone number, the address, and it says there's more on Yelp. Some of them will even have a menu right in here, but you notice it did have their website, so we could, and there's an order button, so we could do it that way.
Report an issue.
You could report an issue if there's a problem,
Pen button.
and then you can pin this.
Claim this place.
Now,
vertical.
I don't think, let's see.
Address. Cafe. Website. Phone.
I didn't actually see that card option in this particular situation, and I may just have missed it because normally, or if I'm being honest, maybe that it's just updated the way they've done it. But I'm just gonna go back and take one more look. But if you run into a card controller, you just swipe up or down to use the rotor to adjust the size of the card. But it doesn't even look like we have to in this situation anymore. Oh, here it is. It's to the left of the map modes button, all the way to the left. Listen.
Card controller, full screen, button. Double tap to collapse the sheet. Actions available.
And you have actions in your rotor now. Listen.
Expand, collapse, activate, default.
Okay.
Original
So that's the card controller. It's already set to full screen, and that's why we are able to read this so easily. But you see, it's overlaying the screen. I'm going to close that result.
Maps, favorite restaurants.
And I have to
tracking, close.
Get out of that because I'm going to go back.
My
And
takeout.
Where's my
pizza close?
There's my close button for the search
map modes
that we did. So you can see how those card controllers work. You see them, I think, in probably like in voice memos also, because you can see the audio waveforms over top of your list of recordings and so forth. And so they're different places, and now you kind of know how to use that. Now I also just want to show you the guides a little bit. You can create your own guides, and also there are sort of curated guides already that you might find one that's like museums near me, or good places to go for the holidays, or they have guides that they curate and you can view them, but you can also make your own. So as you know from what you've already heard, I made one called favorite restaurants. I also have one of like recreational places like our bowling alley, our movie theater, some of the amusement parks and so forth, maybe in there. I don't even remember what all I've put in there so far. And then we have one of like important places, like businesses that I might go to, like the dentist office and so forth. You can also create a guide around either a theme or a trip. Like when we did our trip to Disney World, I created a Disney trip guide. I really didn't end up putting much in it because we stayed on the property, so we didn't go outside of it, and all of that stuff is in the My Disney Experience app, so I really didn't do anything there much. But when we took a trip to Pittsburgh a few years ago, I did I did make a guide with the places we'd be going. We're going to be going back, as I mentioned, to DC next month, and we're going to stay for the weekend. And so when we do that, I'm going to, ahead of time, I'm going to put the hotel and some of the other places that we want to go, and the, restaurants and the theater and everything. And so we'll have a guide that we can easily use. And it's just a way of organizing these places. And then the nice part too is that you can share guides with others. So if somebody's coming to town to visit, you want to highlight some of your favorite places that they might want to check out, you can make a guide for them and you can share it with them. So I just want to show you, and please remember, there's no way we can teach this whole app, and there's so much more you can do with it. So please play with it, experience it, and use the Apple user guide for your device as well to read more about what you can do with it. But let me just show you a guide.
Series suggestion, original work.
All right, what I did now is I got out of the search field. So you saw before what happens when you open the search field. It has your recent searches, it has around me or nearby or whatever it said, and then, of course you could type. I've closed that search field completely now.
Original series profile.
Okay.
Dictate.
And to the right of it
profile button
is my profile. I can make adjustments to this, and I can even download things for offline viewing. Go to the right.
Locations, series suggestions, heading.
Now this is the locations library, and the first thing it starts out with is series suggestions.
Original Italian pizza library heading.
Well, we just searched for that, so that's why that's there probably. But if it knows that I have an event coming up with an address, it may suggest that. Or if I'm away from home, it may suggest, home. But now we're in the section called library now, actually. That was the series suggestions. Now we're in the library. Let's listen if we swipe to the right.
Work, add, button, home, close by, button.
So it has my home and my work. I don't have a separate work address because I mostly work from home. Though not always, sometimes go to other places. But basically, we work from home, and I work from home, and then our home is here.
Mom and Dad's house, 88 miles, button.
I have them in there.
Add, button.
And you can add more stuff. Now keep going to the right.
44 places, bullet, 7 guides, bullet, 0 routes, button.
Okay. This is 44 places, 7 guides. You can double tap that button to expand and see all of them. open it up, but go to the right.
Recents. Heading.
Here we have recents again.
More. Button.
Again, there's a more button to see more recents than what we're going to show here.
Original Italian pizza ever. 415 guides we love. Heading.
Now we're to that guides we love. So even though we're not in the search field, some of this is the same. And here's some guides they think that we would...
Voices of Indigenous Street Artists, Smithsonian Institution, but America's Most Radical Roadside Motels. 13 of the best on me across America. Explore guides. Where do you want to explore? Button.
So we can do that.
Share my location. Button.
Right.
Mark my location. Report an issue.
And okay, so you can mark your location, report an issue. I want to go back to this one that says 44 places, 7 guides, because I want to expand that now.
Pizza. More. Recent. 44 places, bullet 7 guides, bullet 0 routes. Button.
That's your library. If you open that up.
Library. Heading. Close. Button.
And there's a close button, so you can always get back. But go to the right.
Pinned. 2. Button. Places. 44. Button. Guides. 7. Button.
So any of these things that you open will result in you seeing what's under them. Let's go to places, for example.
Places. Brighton Suites Hotel. Places. Heading. Add. Button.
You can add.
More. Button. Close. Button.
There's your close button.
Search your library. Search. Dictate. Brighton Suites Hotel. Hotel. Rehoboth Beach. Rehoboth. Button.
That's where we stay when we go to the beach.
More. Bedford Diner. Salad Bar. Bedford. Favorite restaurants. More. Button.
More buttons with all of these, right?
Mom and Dad's home. More. Bedford Dental Health Center. 1280 Boardwalk. More. Pitt Theater. Christ Victory Church. Holiday Inn Express Breezewood. Route 220 Diner.
I mean, there's just all sorts of stuff that we can go through here. Places that we've added or that we've visited. And I'll go back to close.
Mom. Dictate. Bright. Close. Button.
And I'll open the guides.
Place. Guides. Route. Recently added. Heading. Bright. Guides. 7. Button. Guides. Heading. Close. Button.
Again, a close button.
Favorites. 0 places. Favorite restaurants. 11 places. Rehoboth. 1 place. Important locations. Recreation. Pittsburgh trip. 7 places.
See, there's that Pittsburgh trip. So let's just go back to the favorite restaurants here.
Restaurants.
And just pick one. And it's going to open up a place card just like before now.
Sort. Close. Sort by. Date added. Button. Bedford Diner. Haas's Steak and Sea House. Olive Garden. Mike's Place. Mandy Joe's Country Corral. Best Way Pizza. Martin's Family. Original Jean Bonnet Tavern.
All right, let's just open that one up here.
Jean Bonnet Tavern.
And that is a nearby tavern. If you've ever heard the stories of like the 18th century and 19th century when people were traveling by the old steam locomotives or maybe even horseback in some cases, and then they'd stop at these taverns for the night. They'd have dinner, breakfast in the morning. This is one of those places. It was actually built in the 18th century, and it is a beautiful place. They have just a wonderful ambience and great food and so on, and it's considered an historical location. And so that is the place card.
18 minutes. Driving. Button.
It's an 18-minute drive.
Call. Button.
And that's based on current traffic conditions.
Website. Button. Menu. Button.
That one, notice it has the menu.
More. Button. Selected. Button. Share. Button. Close. Hours. Open. Ratings. Rate. Cost. $2. Distance. 13 miles. Add a note. Only you'll see what you write here. Food and drink. Button. Atmosphere. Button. Yelp. Button. Add photo. More photos. Button.
And they have them in category. I wanted to find...
About. Heading.
Yeah, I thought this one had a description.
The Jean Bonnet Tavern, also known as Old Forks Inn and Bonnet Tavern, is an historic inn and restaurant located just outside Bedford, Pennsylvania on U.
And so it's giving you a description.
Highway. More. Button. More on Wikipedia.
And it's actually from Wikipedia because that one, that actually has that information available. So I wanted to show you that. But I now also want to show you what it's like to get directions. So we go back up near the top of this place card.
Map.
And
Map. Yelp. App. Just menu. Webs call. 18 minutes. Driving. Button.
there's the button that you're going to use to get your directions. It says 18 minutes driving. Whatever you're looking up, of course, it will say whatever is correct for that. And it is, again, based on current traffic at the time. So we tap on this, double tap.
18. Roaring Spring.
Again, it's an overlay. The top of this has the map. Go to the left.
18. Avoid. Jeep. Rock. Cycle. Close. Button.
There's your close button, so let's go to the right.
Selected. Drive. Button. Walk. Transit. Cycle. Ride. Button.
You have 5 choices there. Drive, walk, cycle, transit, like your public transportation, and ride, like an Uber or a Lyft. And then you go to the right.
My location. Button.
That is your starting location. Listen to what VoiceOver says.
My location. Button. Activate to change stop. Actions available.
And you can use your actions.
Move down. Activate default.
So, in other words, where are we getting directions from? And my location. So, it's going to be wherever your current location is. If you need to map something out from a different location, you can change this.
Reorder. Button. Jean Bonnet Tavern. Button.
And that's the destination. Go to the right.
Reorder. Button. Add stop. Button.
Add stop. If you're taking a trip somewhere and you know you're going to stop along the way at a specific place, you can add a stop, and you hear these options to reorder. There's also rotor options to move up or move down, and so you can easily make the trip exactly the way you want it to look with the different stops along the way. Now we go to the right.
Now, button.
When are we leaving? Because we can even do that. We're going to leave right now.
Avoid, button.
If you want to avoid tolls, highways, or other things, maybe you can do that.
18 minutes, 2:54 p.m. ETA, 12 miles, fastest, button.
And that
activate to show trip details.
Will show the trip details. That's not where you actually start. To the right of it,
go button.
That's the button that will actually start the navigating. So when you hear, and there may be other route options, but when you hear the route options,
18 minutes, 2:54 p.m. ETA, 12 miles, fastest, button.
If I double tap,
activate to show trip details.
See, it says activate to show trip details. That's where it will list the steps for me. If I want to see every step in the directions, I double tap on that. Then if I go to the right,
go button,
I can actually start navigating, which of course we're not really going right now, but you can hear.
Go.
Starting route to Jean Bonnet Tavern.
Map.
Head northeast on Locust
And what
Drive.
happens is
Then take the first right onto Cable
now it's
Street.
even telling me to take the first right. My watch is making a noise. It's ready to guide me to where I need to go. If I swipe to the right.
Start on Locust Drive. Right turn. Cable Street.
Now it's telling me the next direction by just swiping to the right. And as I start moving, it'll actually tell me how many feet that is. Or it'll say 3 miles, 2 miles, 1 mile, 800 feet, 700, whatever, as you tap. If it seems like it's not reading it, just reach up and tap near the upper middle of the screen.
Map.
You'll hear map.
No feature. Map.
Move a little down.
Map.
So you can find the map there. And then
start on Locust.
There's you can tap and you can find the direction again. If we keep swiping right.
Right turn. Cable Street compass. Heading 100. Overview mode. Button. Audio. All guidance. Arrival 2:57. 18 minutes. 12 miles. Expand button. Expand.
And lastly, there's an expand button. If you're driving and it can detect the speed limit, it will show that as well. I mean, that's dependent upon your settings, but I have it set to show the compass and the speed limit, and it really does work because we used it yesterday. When you're done, you can expand.
Expand button. Route options.
You have route options.
Collapse button.
Collapse that.
Restaurant. Jean Bonnet Tavern. Call Jean Bonnet Tavern.
Give them a call.
Add stop.
We can add a stop in there while we're driving.
Share ETA.
Share ETA. It allows us to sort of allow people who have Apple devices to follow our location, follow us on a map so they know when we'll arrive.
Report an incident.
We can report an incident.
Voice volume. End route.
And we can end the route, which is what I'm going to do now.
Maps. Only you'll see what you write here. Favorite take. Wheelchair. Good. Outdoor dining. Map. Favorite. Krista. Emily.
We need
only
to
you'll see what. Add. Jean. But close.
Close that. And I'm still in my guide. So I will close the guide.
Sort. Close. Button.
And I'm still in my library. So I'll close. Oh, I'm actually still in the guides section of my library first. Close that. Now I'm still in my library, so I'll...
More. Bright. Recent. Routes. Guides. Places. Pinned. Close. Button.
Close that. And now...
Locations. Work. Library. Heading.
Now I'm back as far as I can be to the main screen. You can hear
Search maps.
the
Search
search
field.
field and everything.
Double tap to edit.
Okay. Again, that's a very, very brief tour of the Maps app. You can hear that it's very accessible, very user-friendly, and we're going to move on because this is App Bonanza, so we want to keep the ball rolling. The second app we're going to talk about today and take a look at today. And by the way, when I get out of the Maps app, it has now
242 photos over the years.
Okay, now it's switched, but that's because I have a smart stack, but it had my maps there. There is a maps widget that was showing up. All right, so we're now going to talk about the music app. Now, the absolute best way, in my opinion, to use the music app is with a subscription to Apple Music. If you do not have one, that's okay, but what I am hearing and what I'm able to do may be different than what you're hearing and you're able to do, and so that's okay. But Apple Music is a great service. It gives you access to millions and millions of songs for one price per month. There is a family plan, and you can have each person in the family can use Apple Music on up to 10 iPhone, iPad, and Mac devices, plus your HomePods and your Apple TVs, and even your Apple Watch now can play music for you, and I guess your Vision Pro as well, if you had a Vision Pro. So you can get music onto your device from other methods in addition to Apple Music, right? You can import from CD, you can, add MP3 files or other audio, from your Mac to get it onto, or your PC to get it onto the music library, and then sync your devices. Or you can have an iTunes Match subscription for just $25 a year, not a month, but a year, which would allow you to, you wouldn't have access to all of the streaming music and the, curated playlists and Apple Music Radio and everything, but you'd still have all of your music synced with the iCloud music library so that it's available on all of your devices. That's a feature of both Apple Music and iTunes Match. What I want to focus on is kind of the layout of the app. You're going to be noticing very quickly predictable patterns. This is a tabbed app on the iPhone. On the iPad, it's a sidebar app. We'll learn about that in the spring if you take our iPad course. But this is a tabbed app on the phone, meaning that it has tabs across the bottom. So if I open up the music app,
Dock, music,
you will hear 5 tabs, I think.
swipe, not now, button, not
Oh, it's
next.
asking me, what do I want? What am I doing?
And it'll press play.
Okay.
Less than or greater than
What is it
vehicle.
asking me here?
Fun,
Positive, uplifting.
Listen to feel good, and more mood stations made just for you on home. Start listening.
Well, I really don't know what I'm being asked to do here. I'm just going to say start listening. Maybe it's a
library.
Oh, it's a new, I guess it's a...
More, library, heading, more, button.
I guess it's a new playlist.
Mini play, next play, just a cloud
What
away.
are we playing? I don't even know.
Album artwork, move your heart.
We can't let that play anyhow here for copyright reasons, but anyhow,
Tab
okay.
Bar, home,
So,
tab, 1 of 5.
5 tabs, right? Tab bar at the bottom.
Home, tab, new, tab, radio, tab, selected, library, tab, search, tab.
Home, new, radio, library, and search. Pretty straightforward. Library is going to give you access to all the music that you have. If you go up to the top left,
library, heading,
you can swipe right.
Playlists, button, artists, button, albums, songs, downloaded, recently added, Chica Bath Time.
And these are all
library, playlists.
They're all categories, right? Playlists, artists, albums. You can view your music in any of those ways. If I want to search for music, I can go over here.
Tab bar, search.
To the search tab.
Search, heading, artists, songs, lyrics, and more. Search field.
I can open that up with a double tap.
Search field is editing.
Once I double tap and open it, you can swipe to the right and see
dictate, cancel, selected, Apple Music, button, library, button, 2 of 2.
I can choose whether I'm searching the whole Apple Music library or just my personal library, and I can search for the name of a song. I can search for, an artist name, an album, anything I want. I mean, really, so if I know that I want to listen to a specific song that I might like this one gospel song called "Speak to the Mountain."
Search field.
I can type that in here, and now we're gonna press the search button, and you'll get the search results.
Speak to cancel selected app laptop results adjustable.
That's an adjustable value adjuster. You can change it from top results to other things if we swipe up or down on it.
Artists, albums, songs.
See, but I'll go back to top.
Our top results.
Swipe to the right.
Speak to the Mountains song. Middle dot. Chris McClarney lyrics. So I speak to the mountains. Button.
And
Pop-up button.
I think that is the correct song. We can long press. Never forget to check for long press actions and rotor actions.
More. Play next. Download. Delete from library. Activate. Default.
And I think if I long press, there's even more than just that.
View credits. Preview. Speak to view credits. Delete from library. Download. Add to a playlist. Button.
Add to a playlist. That's good.
Play next. Share song. Button. Go to album. Create station. Favored. Suggest less. Dismiss context menu. Button.
All right, we'll dismiss that. And if I want to actually play it,
speak to the top. Speak.
I just double tap it.
Speak to the mountains song.
Carrie, we can't really play it because of copyright reasons, but it's a great song. And now that it's playing, you'd think, well, maybe there'll be different options. But notice if we swipe to the right.
Chris McClarney, artist. Speak to the mountain song. Middle dot. Seasons Collective, artist. Button.
Sounds like we're still in search results. Well, that's because we are. There is at the bottom of the screen what's known as a mini player that shows you what's playing. So to quickly access that, I'll touch the bottom left of the screen to get to the first tab.
Tab bar, home, tab, 1 of 5.
And I'll swipe left.
Mini player, repeat, off, button, next track, button, play, button, speak to the mountains. Album artwork, button,
and there's
image,
the album.
A black and white illustration of a person wearing a cowboy hat and yellow and white text on a white background.
That's the album art. Notice the name of the song is here.
Speak to the mountains.
And if I double tap on it,
speak to dismiss now playing screen.
This brings up the full screen player, also known as the now playing screen. At the top left,
dismiss now playing screen button.
Almost like a back button, isn't it? And then
speak to the mountains. Chris McClarney button.
As we swipe right,
favored button. More button.
There's more. If you go into that,
view credits. Delete from down. Add to share lyric. Go to album. Share lyrics.
It even has the lyrics there.
Go to album.
You can go to the album so you can see the whole album.
Create station. Favored. Suggest less. Report a concern. Dismiss context menu.
Dismiss that.
Dismiss now.
As we keep swiping right,
favored.
past the more button.
More selected. Instrumental break button.
These are the lyrics. And notice it said selected and it says instrumental break because that's the beginning. These are time-synced lyrics. As you play the song, the correct lyrics will be shown at the time. And so this is great for like get-togethers when you have people over and you want to do some karaoke on your Apple TV. But you can read the lyrics even here as we swipe right.
Why would I worry? Button. When giants come calling my name? Button. My God is so much bigger than troubles I face. Button.
And it will select the ones that are currently being sung at the time. Again, I can't really do that for you and let you hear that because of the recording and the copyright restrictions and so on. But you get the idea. If I touch down below these lyrics,
previous track, Dolby.preview, track position, vocal volume, vertical vocal volume, off, button.
Vocal volume. And you can turn that on and then you can actually adjust the vocal volume of the singer in this recording. So remember how I said karaoke, time-synced lyrics, Well, this is how you can take that even a step further. Many songs support this, and they have this vocal volume feature. You turn this on, and you can actually reduce the original vocalist volume, so you have like a karaoke track, effectively. And it is great. You have, a New Year's Eve party. Everybody wants to do karaoke, again, with an Apple TV or something. This is just fantastic. Go to the right.
Track position, 0 seconds of 5 minutes, 4 seconds.
That's your scrubber, so you can quickly move through the song.
Dolby.Atmos.
It's showing you that this is a Dolby Atmos recording.
Previous track. Play. Button. Next track. Button.
You got those buttons.
Volume 100% selected. Lyrics button. Playback destination. iPhone button. Mini player. Album. Speak to
And
the
there's the where you are again. So different options in these, depending on what you're doing. You'll see repeat and shuffle. You'll see the lyrics. You'll see the playback destination, which allows you, right now it said iPhone. Maybe I want to play this on another device in the car or on a home pod or an Apple TV or something like that. So I can change the playback destination that way as well. All right, we'll dismiss this.
Album artwork. Playback selected. Lyric. Dismiss now. Playing. Dismiss now. Speak to the mountains.
And instead of searching for a song title this time, I just want to show you that we can also search for lyrics. Let's pretend I know there's a song that has the lyrics, "If everybody had an ocean across the USA," but I just don't remember, the name of that song. So I can go up here.
Speak to the mountain in Apple Music. Search field. Its search field is editing.
And of course, to the right, we would expect
Clear text.
to find the clear text button.
Artists.
And
songs.
I'll dictate this time. If everybody had an ocean across the USA.
Inserted if everybody had an ocean across the USA.
And bottom right.
Search. If everybody had.
Let's look at our search results.
Surfing. Top results. Surfing USA. Song. Middle dot. The Beach Boys. Lyrics. If everybody had an ocean. Button.
And of course,
button.
that's the one. We know that is the correct song, and I could start playing it, except I can't really play it for you here. But we know that it will indeed play, and it will actually, it is the correct song. So you can search by lyric as well. The last thing in Apple Music that I'd like to show you is the.
If everybody cancel.
Well, actually, there's two other things. Let's cancel.
If cancel, but cancel.
And let's go back to
Search.
Library for a moment.
Tab bar. Library. Selected.
I just want to show you how to make a playlist. Up at the top where you have these choices in Library.
Artist playlists button.
Go into Playlists. Now.
Library. Back button.
There's your back button at the upper left. Predictable patterns, right? Go to the right.
New playlist button.
And there it is, the new playlist button. You can name your playlist. You can add a photo. You can start adding songs right from there. But remember, we also saw that if you long press any song, wherever you may find it, any tab that you find it in or a search or anywhere, you can long press it and you can say add to playlist. And it will let you choose what playlist you add it to. And it puts the most recent one at the top that you've worked with most recently. But this is how you create a new playlist. And by the way, playlists can be collaborative. So you can share a playlist with somebody, but you can also collaboratively share a playlist. And this is great. When we went to the beach last summer, I created a beach and road trips playlist that we still use and we'll keep using. And what I did is put a whole bunch of songs that I like, a lot of oldies and Christian and country and just a whole mix of things. And then I collaboratively shared this with everybody in the family, my wife and kids. And I said, you guys add anything you want to this playlist so that we have all of our music that we like, and so you can do that. You can collaborate on playlists. But that's where you add a new one, and then to the right,
filter menu button.
You can filter your playlists.
More button.
And
playlists heading.
Then we
search field.
You can even search in playlists. So it's easy to filter, and the reason for filtering is like you might choose to add Apple Music playlists to your library. Like they'll feature these different playlists that they recommend, and so you can add those, and then of course you're making your own, and so you filter by what you see and how they're ordered and sorted and all of that stuff. So you have a lot of options here, but that's where that's done, and I just wanted to show you that. And lastly, I want to show you the radio tab.
Library back.
Let's go down to the bottom here.
Tab bar radio.
This is really set up by headings, but it's so long and there's so much to it that you're not just going to be able to use rotor heading navigation, because it will stop at what it can visibly see on the screen, because these are all like full screen experiences here. So you're going to have to make use of the 3-finger swipe up gesture, But let me just start showing you to the right.
Library. Search.
Whoop.
Radio. Heading.
Here we go.
My account. Recently played. Heading. Apple Music 1. The new music that matters. Apple Music hits. Songs you know and love. Apple Music Country. Where it sounds like home. Feel good. Button. Chill music for
So those first ones were live radio stations, and then they have the curated ones.
Matthew the Oak Ridge Boys. Meditation. Button. Red. Button. Disco Never Died. This song is the Beach Boys and similar.
If we look at the rotor,
live rec toggle for headings.
That was
toggle live recognition top for heading. Listen to interviews button heading.
As I swipe down.
Watch interviews button heading. Latest episodes but hosted by artists. Our radio hosts but all shows button heading.
Those are all live things.
Local broadcasters button.
And let's see what we have there.
NPR News and Culture 102.7 KIIS FM Los Angeles. iHeartRadio, HOT 97, iHeartRadio, KDFC, tune in, button.
See, it even gets radio. It even gets radio stations from iHeart and TuneIn right here in the music app. Headings again.
Explore and local international broadcasters, top stations, button.
They may have actually corrected that and made it so you can just use heading navigation. Praise God, I didn't even realize that. Last time I did this, you still had the 3-finger swipe. But I'm not having to do that.
Stations by genre. Button.
And that's where I wanted to get to. If nothing else, you can go down to stations by genre and you can pick all. Look at all these genres here.
Hit station, Apple Music, adult rock station, Latin pop station.
Actually, that's not even where I wanted to go.
Stations.
Let's go further.
More to explore. Heading.
I think it's under more to explore. Now go to the right.
Alternative and indie, Christian, classical, country, dance. Electronic from around the world. Hip/hop and R&B. Hits by decade. Holiday. Jazz. Kids and family. Latin. Metal. Pop. Reggae. Rock. Singer/songwriter. Vertical.
Look at all these choices. Look at all that. And then I can use the vertical scroll bar.
Vertical 2011
to go back up to the top and touch
Apple Music 1.
And I'm back up to the top. You know what? Praise God. I did not have at all to use the 3-finger swipe this time. They must have, I mean, and that's not even something that I ever reported. Maybe other people did, or they just fixed it on their own. But I mean, years and years you used to have to do, the 3-finger swipe up to get through the whole radio tab. Not anymore. Not in iOS 18 apparently, and I've not done that in a while in that manner. But I also want to point out you can use SIRI to play things in Apple Music and even other sources now. So you can use SIRI to play things in Pandora, Sirius XM. I could even say like play Hits 1 on Sirius XM. And really you can even do this on your HomePod. A lot of people don't realize that, but that is doable. Very quickly, we're going to look at one more app, and then we're going to go to the other instructors and then your questions. This is going to be relatively quick, but it's we're going to take a look at the Apple TV app. Some people say, well, I don't have an Apple TV. Well, you don't need one, although you should get one because they're one of the best devices for watching TV. It's just a set-top box. It's not actually a television, right? It connects to your TV via HDMI. But even if you don't have an Apple TV, you still have the TV app. Now, the TV app is the home of Apple TV Plus, which is Apple's streaming service where they have very well-respected, award-winning shows and movies and a lot of great content. But even without Apple TV Plus, you can still use the TV app because it also gives you access to the ability to rent movies and to buy movies and TV shows, and then to access your existing purchases from, movies and TV shows. And it also integrates with almost all of the big name streaming services. Netflix being the only one I know of off the top of my head that for whatever reason has chosen not to provide that data to Apple to allow for the deep integration. But it integrates with Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Max, Amazon Prime Video. It integrates with a ton more, right? Pluto and Tubi And oh my, I'm probably forgetting some of the big streaming service. Am I forgetting it? I was Max, Peacock, Paramount Plus, Disney Plus, Hulu. And then it also integrates with a lot of network channels, like, you know how you might watch TV and they say get even more in the Food Network app or the Lifetime app. That's called TV Everywhere. Well, it integrates with almost all of those TV Everywhere apps, like the Food Network, HGTV, Lifetime, History Channel, uh, I think Smithsonian it integrates with. Um, just a ton of those, TV Everywhere apps. Plus, it integrates with the apps for several big name cable and satellite providers. So it integrates with the Xfinity Stream app from Comcast, which, praise God, that's an awesome app, and I'm glad they integrate. It integrates with the DirecTV app. Yeah, let's see. It integrates with a lot of live TV streaming service apps. The Hulu Plus Live TV, Sling TV, I think it integrates with, and Philo, the TV service. So when you watch content on any of these services that I've mentioned, any of the, Max, Hulu, Disney Plus, or the cable providers, or any of that, when you watch content on those apps or in those apps, that content shows up in the Apple TV app. That makes it super easy for you to keep track of what you're watching, to find out what's next without having to think, oh, what comes on tonight? It's Thursday. What do I watch? I have to make sure I have my DVR set or I watch it live. No, you can look in the TV app and you can see what's coming up or what will be already available to play. In addition to that, it gives you the ability to search across those apps, right? And then it influences recommendations and everything like that as well. So let's just take a brief look at this app.
Music hits.
I will point out it's very similar to the way that the music app is set up and the way that the books app is set up that we're going to look at on Wednesday. That's not the only one we're going to look at on Wednesday, but it's very similar. So,
Dock. Home. Wallet. Health. App. TV. Double tap to open.
now,
TV. Tab bar. Home. Tab.
let's look at the tabs across the bottom and you'll see what I mean.
Tab bar. Home. Tab. Selected. Apple TV Plus. Tab. Store. Tab. Library. Tab. Search. Tab. 5 of 5.
All right, so let's start out with the search tab if I know that I want to watch something specific.
Search. Tab. Shows. Movies. And more.
That's what we want.
Search field. Search field is editing.
And let's say search for shows, movies, and more. Well, let's say we want to watch the sitcom Friends, which is already in my queue. I don't really need to search for it, probably, but our family likes a lot of the sitcoms and a lot of the cooking and home shows and stuff. Let's just search for
Cap G. Search field. Cap FOIENS.
and press search.
Search web page loaded.
And you'll notice here,
Friends, cast and crew, TV show, top results.
It's not an adjustable thing like it is in music, but
Can't top results, button, TV shows, button, movies, button, cast and crew.
they're buttons you can actually pick from. Now go to the right.
Friends, TV show, button.
Well, that's, if you go to the right again.
Friends, TV show, button. Friends, the reunion movie.
Right,
button.
there's other options, but I think this is the one we want here. And if I go to the top left, there's a back button. Go to the right.
Remove from watch list button.
Yep, we can remove this from our watch list. I'm not going to do that because I want it in there, but go to the right.
Download button.
We can actually download this because we have it in that format that we can do that.
Share button.
You can share this with people.
Friends. Comedy, February 26th, 1998. 22 minutes. Resume episode button.
I can resume the current episode, or I can keep swiping to the right for the entire list of seasons and episodes.
As for more, Common Sense, the one with Rachel's crush, the one with Joey's dirty day, the one with all the rugby.
And I can go to the left to go back to earlier episodes. I can also use headings, though.
Live rec toggle the verb headings.
So when you
Screen
do
words,
this,
pair
what we
actions,
have,
live recognition
there were actions here.
Back to context menu. Details. Activate. Default.
There's one specifically called context menu for each episode, which would allow you to download that episode or other things. But let's go to headings.
Live recognition. Toggle vert headings.
Go down.
Box set. Button. Heading.
There's the box set if you want to purchase the whole thing. We already own it, praise God. But I want to show you.
Related. Button.
And we can look at related, what shows are related. But no, I want to go down.
Cast and crew. Button.
I can see the cast and the crew.
Jennifer Aniston, Rachel Courtney Cox, Monica Geller Bing, Lisa Kudrow, Phoebe Buffet.
I mean, this is nice because you can see the... But go back to the left.
Cast and crew.
And go down again.
How to watch. Heading.
And this is what I really want to show you. How to watch. When we talk about all these things being integrated with the TV app, look at how I can watch this now. I've got a whole bunch of choices. Go to the right.
Max. Open in. Max app. Button.
So the first thing I get is open in Max app because the Max app has all 10 seasons of Friends. Go to the right.
Xfinity Stream. Open in. Xfinity Stream app. Button.
There's the Xfinity Stream app, which must have at least some of the episodes of Friends currently.
Prime Video. Get. Prime Video app. But Hulu. Get. Hulu app. TBS. Get. TBS app. Sling TV. Get. Sling TV app. About. Heading.
And then you get to the About section with the description and everything. Now, I think on the Apple TV, if I'm not mistaken, it actually tells you what seasons are available in each of those services as well. And, you know, Xfinity Stream being a live TV and an on-demand app, I don't know if it has the whole thing in there or if it's just the ones that are, you know, airing recently because they'll have a certain number on demand. Same thing with the TBS app, you know, but and even the Hulu app. But I know that the whole thing's on Max. But so you can pick any of these, and if you subscribe to those services, you know, and so that's how this, you know, that's how easy it is to work. Now I want to go back.
Back button. Friends. Cancel. But.
And
Search.
we're not going to do the Apple TV Plus tab or the Store tab right now. They're pretty self-explanatory. Apple TV Plus just features all of their content, and Store allows you to find things that you want to buy and or rent without having to search for them. It's, you know, what's featured, what all those kinds of things. But I want to go to the Home tab because I do want to show you.
Home tab.
You're definitely going to want to use headings here.
Web page loaded.
Okay, it's ready. Up near the top.
Home. Add to watch list button.
They're always going to feature something at the top here.
Account settings button.
And there's your account settings.
Shrinking comedy rated TVME. The hilarious heartfelt series returns with unexpected
All right, let's go to headings.
Container screen recognition or character. Toggle vert headings.
And swipe down. Our first main section here
Continue watching button.
is
Heading.
the continue watching section where we can see everything we've been watching. So if I swipe to the right, you'll really get an idea of what I mean.
Full House. Continue S5. E2 button. Actions available.
That is Full House. We were watching that earlier today, my son and I, while we were eating lunch. 17-year-old boy into, you know, fast cars and all these other stereotypical things still picks Full House as one of his favorite shows. I think it's absolutely adorable that he does that. And I like it too, of course. It's a great family show. But anyhow, we were watching that as we had lunch together, and then
Hometown. Continue S1. E8. 6 minute left. Max. 85% complete. Time remaining. 6 minutes. Button.
notice that one.
Actions available.
That one gave us additional information because I was partway through that. I paused it when he was ready for lunch because he wanted to watch Full House, so we paused Hometown. But that was that's like a home renovation show. And notice that one said Max. Full House didn't say anything because we own that. You can also watch Full House on Max and I think Disney Plus and Hulu, but depending on how you subscribe, one or both of those. But we own it, so we just, you know, it didn't say anything about that. But notice that the next one did say Max because that's where we were watching that.
Home Improvement. Continue S1. E15. 23 minute left.
And that's actually a sitcom from the 90s.
Everybody Loves Raymond. Continue S1. E5.
That's another
button.
sitcom.
The King of Queens.
Another
Next
sitcom.
S1. E2. Peacock. Button.
Notice that one's on Peacock. And notice these are telling me whether it's the next episode, continue the same episode, how long is left in it, and that one says it's on Peacock. And then
Reba, continue S1.
Reba.
Make this tonight. Continue S4. E11, 21 minute left. Taste made. 0% complete.
That's
Time remaining.
okay.
21 minutes.
And that's a cooking show. And so you can hear that. Here's The Nanny on Peacock.
Grey's Anatomy. New S21.
Now, we have profiles, but my wife was on that one using that she watches Grey's Anatomy.
Beachfront Bargain Hunt.
There's
Next S22.
That's going to be in Max. So you get the idea. And all of these, check your rotor out because there's context actions. But if you keep going down by heading in this app,
Live toggle vert headings.
in this home tab of the TV app, I want to show you something else that's really cool.
Top chart. Apple TV Plus button.
All right,
heading.
that's cool, but it's not what I wanted to show you.
Channels and apps heading.
This is what I wanted to show you. This has channels and apps for everything that you've chosen to connect to the TV app. And so just listen.
Apple TV Plus, A&E, AMC, Animal Planet, Bravo, CBS News, Discovery, Disney Plus, Food Network, HGTV, Max, Paramount Plus, PBS Kids Video, Peacock, Taste Made, The CW, TLC, More to Explore, Heading, MLS Season Pass, Hulu, Prime Video, BritBox, Acorn TV, Adult Swim, Act Go.
All of these are channels. And so, like, if I wanted to see what is on, like, let's say that I wanted, well, we'll just use, there's PBS Kids, Paramount Plus. Let's just use Paramount Plus as an example. So I'll double tap on that.
Back, button, tab bar, Apple Store, tab
right,
bar, store, Paramount
there we
Plus. Go. Add to watch list. Lioness, Thriller, page 1 of 5. Continue watching on Paramount Plus. Button. Heading.
There's always like a big poster first featuring something, but then your first tab here, notice, or first heading here, notice it's continue watching on Paramount Plus. So, it's another continue watching, but now it's only going to show me the movies and shows that I'm watching on Paramount Plus.
The Thundermans. Next at 1. E3. Paramount Plus button.
And that's
actions available.
A sitcom. It's kind of, made for kids. I enjoy it too. It's a good family show, but it's about superheroes.
Why Women Kill. Continue S1. E4.
Okay, my son was watching that.
The Wolf of Wall Street. Continue.
He was watching that too.
SpongeBob SquarePants. Continue.
Probably
S1.
watching that too.
I Love Lucy.
There's
Next
I Love Lucy.
Ice Airport, Alaska. Danger Force. Mighty Cruise Ships. Top chart.
So you can see these things. And we watch Air Disasters, but I've been watching that on Xfinity Stream because it actually gives me access directly to my DVR content, and the newest season isn't on Paramount Plus yet. They're always like one season behind. So that's why you don't see Air Disasters here, even though I watched that. But you see Mighty Cruise Ships and Ice Airport, Alaska. And if we keep going down,
top chart,
we can find these shows.
Heading, Lioness, Tulsa King, Landman, Tracker, Matlock, Fire Country, Elspeth, Ghosts, Georgian, Blue, Transform, NCIS,
I can
12, just added,
go down.
TV shows, but SpongeBob's Criminal Minds, Tracker, Tulsa King, Lioness, movies, but drama, but comedy, action, button.
So if I'm looking for comedy,
Ghosts, Everybody Loves Raymond, The King of Queens, Frasier, SpongeBob SquarePants, Everybody Hates Chris, Elspeth, The Neighborhood, Henry Danger.
And if I go down,
action, adventure, button, but sports, thriller, heading not
if I go further down past all that, down at the very bottom, you can also see
Antique, Guadeloupe, French, Dominican, Canada, Noodles versus Canada versus.
I gotta go past all that here.
Central Independent.
All kinds of sports.
Versus Bristol City versus Wrexham versus East Parliament versus.
I think we're close.
Tacoma versus Swansea versus. Inter versus.
Let's go down a little further.
FC tab.
And I could go to the very end and see. Okay, so listen to this. Now here it tells me this. This is good. Listen to this.
Paramount Plus is connected to the Apple TV app. Open Paramount Plus button.
So we can open Paramount Plus right there.
Manage apps button.
And we can manage the app. So we can actually be taken directly into the Paramount Plus app that way. And I could actually get Paramount Plus directly through Apple TV, and I wouldn't even need the app. But as a Walmart Plus member, I get it for free but I have to use the app. So, I mean, it's still connected to the TV app at the end of the day. It's really a similar experience. And, I didn't happen right away to see air disasters there. I could have looked more thoroughly. But again, we can always just go to search,
shows,
and we
movies,
can search for
air
air disasters, and there it is.
Air disasters, move air
And
disaster.
when you open it, you can see that I'm
Tab
watching
bar,
it.
Web page low air document play episode button.
Let's go down.
Related button about how to watch Philo open in Xfinity Stream open in Apple TV app by seasons from $4.99 seasons 1 3 6 9 10 12 20
Shows me which ones I can buy. This one seems to be showing me, at least for the purchasable ones, what I could buy.
Hulu, Paramount Plus, open in Paramount Plus app.
And there's
seasons 119.
That one does show me. Some of them show me. It says it's seasons 1 through 19 on Paramount Plus.
Paramount Plus, Prime Video, about.
I think there's, let me see how many there actually are when I look at the purchase options, because that says there's 19 in Paramount Plus. I think we're going to see, oh yeah, there's 20. That's what I thought. The most recent one doesn't come to the streaming app until after the season's over, I guess that's why. But you can get all the other ones. So I'm watching that one in Xfinity Stream. Even when I DVR something, it will show up here in the watch list. So, I mean, it's really beautiful the way these things integrate. And obviously, again, we won't do it for copyright reasons, but anything I want to watch, I just double tap, and it either starts playing immediately in the TV app, or it opens up in whatever app you need to watch it, and then then it'll start playing. Some apps have like a choose profile thing first or something, but it will open up. And then here's the thing: the other thing that you can do, again, you can use SIRI, all of those things that you would expect. But if you buy content, of course, it plays right in the TV app. You can even get season passes, and then they'll just be available whenever. And you don't have to store them on your device. They don't take up any of your personal storage at all, either iCloud or local, right? It's just you've purchased them, so you can watch them anytime you want. You can download them for offline viewing if you need to, but you don't have to. It manages the storage very well. And let's see, if you open, I thought there was one other thing I was going to say. If you open something you've already been watching, it will, resume right where you left off, even if it's on a different device, as long as you have both devices signed in to the same Apple account. So it knows the progress that you've made on that, and it will display it in the correct place for you. And of course, once you're playing content, you get a full screen experience where you can rewind and pause and do all those other sorts of things. And so, that is something, obviously, that I won't show you again for, copyright reasons, but you can do that. So when you start playing content, it's, the whole thing is accessible across the board. And there's audio description for those who want it. There's subtitles. There's even a voiceover feature that will cause VoiceOver to read the captions and the subtitles and so on for you. So and they can also be output to a Braille display. Yeah, that's an interesting little tidbit too.
I have trouble shutting them off. Like I can't find a place to make them just stop, and I end up shutting down my phone to end my session. Is there something I'm missing? A button, something?
Well, possibly, but let me clarify first that whenever you try to leave the app, I'm just guessing that it does the picture-in-picture thing and keeps playing. Is that what happens?
Yeah, that's what it wants to do, right?
All right. So first of all, if you get into that situation, it is possible to find the picture-in-picture window on your screen and exit out of it with the rotor, but that can be a little bit tricky because you sometimes have to find that by touch. So if you get yourself into that scenario where you're out of the app, but it's still playing, just use the app switcher, where you slide up further from the bottom. Go ahead and just quit the Max app or whatever app it is. Now, in order to avoid that happening, what you ideally want to do is to first end your playback, even if it's just with the pause button inside of the Max app or whatever app you're using. The playback controls, make sure they're showing by double tapping if they're not, and then just choose the pause button. And then typically at the upper left of the screen is a button that will say something like close player or exit playback or back, something like that. If you do that first, so that you're then just back to the main screen of the Max app or whatever app it is, then you won't get the picture-in-picture thing.
Okay.
Now, I think,
all right,
I do think that you can actually, if it's easier for you, if you go to settings and then general, there's an option under there that says picture-in-picture, and there's an option that says start PIP automatically. And it says when you swipe up to go home or use other apps, videos, and FaceTime calls automatically continue in picture-in-picture. You can actually turn that off completely by settings, general, and then picture-in-picture. You can actually disable that feature altogether.
So sometimes VoiceOver will read the the titles or the subtitles.
Yes.
I've had that happen and I don't want it. Sometimes is there a way to turn that off, or is it automatic?
There is at off. If you, and it may or may not be in your rotor, so I'm not going to do the rotor way. I'll just take you into if you go into settings and then accessibility and into VoiceOver,
right.
Under verbosity, there's one called media descriptions. Okay. And when you look at media descriptions, you have the choice of speech, braille, both, or nothing. I mean, I'm paraphrasing a little bit.
Right.
But yeah, so you can just turn them off if you don't want them. Yes. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. Thanks for your support. God bless you and take care, everybody.
Thanks for joining today's session. Didn't get your question answered? Have an additional comment or feedback? Email us info@ttjtech.biz or info@stiritup.com. And remember, stir is spelled with a U. That's STURITUP.com. Or check out our websites for additional resources. That's ttjtech.biz or stiritup.com. And remember, subscribe to the newsletter when you're there. That way, you don't miss out on any upcoming announcements or events. Thanks for joining us. God bless, and see you next time.